There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We judge it for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Foreign people who waiting to sell. Blessing that time and that effort are rest. The brothers are giving us here the promise from them. The work with my life without fear.
A lyrical health.
Master.
Play Paris, who make you again Sktv menu. Say my journey, Tina can I say my jamo. And he's no money, and more I know. And you love
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grandbaza.
And I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I can't play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I can't play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I don't get it now ya to money. That's the baby, and I don't get it now. Cause you walk on my ya to money. Yeah.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the low and grandbaza.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We judge it for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Foreign people who waiting to sell. Blessing that time and our efforts are rest. The broadcast we giving a real and the premise my best. To work with my life without fear. From Grandfather Nima to Lufa, from Riverside, River G to Chile, from Grand Crew, Bombing, Kidman, Montserrat, San to Backwalu, from Maryland, Bonkan to the Mikey B. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa.
Indeed, Sktv, we are the best in Liberia. Sktv, we are the best in Africa. Sktv, we are the best around the world. And folks, good evening to all of you, our people, our Oman, the Papian, those of you who always follow this broadcast. Let me say the wonderful good evening and welcome. Today's Monday, the 15th of December. That tells you that we already going to have into the last month in the year 2025. We have 16 more days to go into 2025 and 10 more days to go into Christmas. My Christmas, oh God, my Christmas on you. Christmas on you. Let's share the show, people. Today is Monday. The show will be interesting. The show will be hot. We have so many things to talk about. I know you are all gearing up with all of the latest happening around here in Liberia, the budget, their life conditions. Yeah, you also thinking about what to do, the county sport meets, some of the stadium that look like 1930, when we used to play football 1930, 1940, we stay into 1940 activities. While we in 2025, people are not sending, can you imagine though? People are protecting their airspace. Now, for example, even when you have their plane, the tail of your plane to just pass by someone's airspace, they will tell you that, look, don't do that next time. But for us, we stay playing on 1940 football field. To tell you that we haven't here going anywhere. In fact, we're not going somewhere soon. Let me tell you. But again, people, go evening. The show will be interesting. The team will soon join us very soon. That's the show. Today is Monday. So many things to talk about. The issue of drugs, activities, the issue of arrest. Those are supposed to be arrested. Like I posted to the two persons on the cross. The one that were accused allegedly of, in fact, rape a 14-year-old girl that was parading around, having a very fun time, Yeah, a comfortable sleep Why someone who allegedly consumed, or in fact they were seen in possession of marijuana, or what we call opium, the person is now in prison today on the Saw Beach. Oh, yes, indeed. So share the show. The show will be interesting. I know. Yeah, you know, we got to follow all these things back to back, making sure that we give you all of the play-by-play. Because a lot of you that depend on us, you know, even though the government intimidating us, they don't want to support us, the government always undermining us. Yeah, but let's share the show. The show will be interesting. Share the show, people. Let me see quickly. Myself, I'm trying not to share the show, but share the show will be interesting to you. So let's go back quickly to those of you who are following us. Some of you have been asking. May Bon please send me the drug log of 2023. Hey man. Now I know why the politicians keep using our people. So the drug or the controlled drugs and substance out of 2023 is out there. It's right on the Google. Just Google it and you will see what some of these things that needed to be talked about. Some of these things that you need to know, because if you wait for your government, they won't educate you. That's the only way that they can make money. So when they educate, they will not make money. Oh God, it's interesting. Let's share the show, people. So Google it now and find, go on the internet, Google controlled drugs and substance Act of 2023 that was signed into law by former President George Manuel Weah on July 12, 2023. And the new laws introduces significant stiffer penalties for drugs-related offenses aiming to combat the rising crisis of drugs abuse and trafficking in the country. So you go to the non-bailable offenses and the bailable offenses, but you don't know these things. Oh God, life is interesting. Let's share the show first, people. Yeah, so you don't know all of these things, that they have certain portion of the drug law that also bailable. It's indeed there. It's bailable. But again, you know, sometimes the political wahala we got to play. So let's move, people. Let's move. Let's share the show first. Let the team come on. Then we'll go more deeper into that. But I know, in fact, this is surprising to some of you, because all you've been hearing around here is that the drug law is non-bailable. No, certain part of the drug law is bailable. It's bailable. Especially the one that happened in a case of Bucky Raw. It's bailable. Oh God, what kind of country we live in? But anyway, share the show. Share the show is interesting. Yeah, you know, the whole keep telling you, learn these things. Don't have the smartphone in your hand until you have the, I call it internet. Everything you want is Facebook. Facebook, no. So they say, don't tell Joe. So someone is loyal to do not tell you, because when they tell Joe, Joe will tell himself, and Joe will not pay money. So that's what I'm sharing with you. Don't hold me in contempt, but pay a big girl. You will not put me in the loyal hand. Yeah, but don't tell Joe. Joe will tell himself. But actually, on a very serious note, all of the laws should have been out, and our people should know better to be well explained. You know, explain the laws to our people. Pay for air times. You know, go to media institutions. Even if they're 1 hour per day, be able to educate your people about all the law that you best sign. But they will not sign the law. They leave with you now to go for your own, for if I work and cry your own cry. So if you don't know, they will, let's share the show, people. Yeah, it is indeed interesting, but it's sad, especially in this kind of a time, this age and time, that people will not want to educate our people. They don't want to explain anything about the law, even with police officers. Now, for example, go out there to even arrest you. You don't want to even explain to you the reason that in going out there to even arrest you. The next thing you will see the police officer fighting you, the police officer doing all kinds of things. When you try to say, hey, so you're fighting the law of abandoning officers, you're fighting this person. That's the country, though. But at this age and time, I expect all of us as people to remain quiet and allow certain things to play, and allow certain things to go on like you don't even know your own right. Even when politicians will play on you, for you to vote for them. They shouldn't play on you with your own right. They shouldn't play on you with the laws that they say. The reason why these people are surviving through this thing because we choose not to read the law. All of us, we choose not to go by the laws. We choose not to, if I would ever know our own right until people are going to tell you about your own right. The first thing before the law-abiding officers or police officer even have you arrested, he should be able to tell you the reason why he arresting you. And even if you want to even arrest you, let him tell you when he's taking you to. Yeah, my money are making a kind of the country is very interesting. We don't even teach anything, but we pay people thousands of dollars every month. And Americans say they're making $7,600 plus $2,000 for gasoline. What you're paying people? I don't know what the reason of which that we're paying people. Only God wants that we're paying people all the thousands of dollars every month. But to even educate our own people about their rights, they don't even. All they care about is how to jail people. Most of the people are in prison today. Some people will be in prison. Common cases that should have been resolved. But just because people want to use their political, how they call it, other people, they want to use their strength. Some people, they have their financial strength that they want to use against people. Like, for example, if someone want to jail me right now, they probably will do it Friday. They probably look at Friday and say, oh yeah, I want to see, I have issues with maybe let's go to the police station on Friday. As soon as I read that, the lawyer will just knock that 18 and say late time, then so you take maybe to South Beach. So if bucket rod today go to the court by what time? Those of you out there, you check the time. I think when they're about 12, right? Or 11 to 12 to go to South Beach on case, on issues that is payable. Well, then that's it. Well, my dear brother, good evening. Your mom is here with us already. Let's share the show, people. At least I hit almost a 700 or 800. Yeah, at least. But mom, good evening. And after the weekend, my brother.
Well, not much. It's just cold in Minnesota. We're under the frigid temperature, even though we are not officially in the winter, but it's so cold. You know, one thing about the cold, right? People don't understand is when you're extremely cold, your body doesn't operate as usual. You got limited blood flow, and your blood flow is mostly energy. So when it's very, very cold, your energy level is low. You cannot even concentrate well. You got cold hands and cold feet. You're always tired. You don't have enough sunlight. That's why people supplement with vitamin D to make up for that lost sunlight, at least just to stimulate your body a little bit. You got to drink something warm. You can't mess around with too much oily food because it's cold. You don't want to make situation worse. It can be cold and you be eating oil. No, you are only making the situation worse. You want soup, something hot, something warm to keep you hot tea, green tea, something like that. But that's it. That's Minnesota. This is what we sign up for. And we will live with it until we can get to April of next year. Then,
let me go to this. Someone sent me this. You know, I think they were edited this morning. But said, maybe we go, or if I would got to go outside and clean all that ice, because if someone fall down, they will sue you. You who own the property, you have to clean the sidewalk, and you drive way and walk way going into your house. The city, that means the city mayor or the city people, they're only responsible for the main street.
Yeah, that's regulation. When you operate a business or a home, you got mailmen that will be coming in, people will come to deliver. So the walkway leading to your property, you are responsible to clean it and to put salt. Or if it's too slippery, you got to put something like a caution, like a sign saying that be careful. Because if the mailman was to come to deliver your mail and it's freezing cold and he fell and maybe he dislocated a hip, that's a big time lawsuit, and you will be responsible to carry on that bill because that's your responsibility. It's all part of your property right. When your property owner is your responsibility. So you'll see the apartment complex, the state plow, they will be on the main road putting salt and clearing the streets. The same responsibility applies to individuals as well, businesses and residential property. Yep.
But it's happening among, in fact, I don't know if you see the kind of thing, because most of the time we shift. In fact, even the government itself too, that's another don't care, because they are not even playing their part the way they're supposed to. And sometimes most of the blames have been shifted on citizens. Like, oh, the citizens, they are reckless, they don't care. They just take debt from another place, in fact, they just do all kinds of things. But this is another form of making things to work properly, Monk. But we don't see these things here.
No, you cannot expect to see that here. What they call individual responsibility. Yeah, the people got government, yeah, but the government, they got limited government, like I said. The government will play her role. The individual are also responsible for playing her role in society, including civil society. Everybody has a role to play in the proper operation of the society. The government will play her role. Individuals has responsibility. Civil society, religious community, charity group, everybody got a role to play. Even that's one of the reasons you can get see police brutality, police will kill someone because there are no consequences. In America, if a policeman wants to kill your relative, we're talking about $1 million worth in lawsuit. If the government will keep paying such amount of money, trust me, they will retrain every single police officer and tell them to behave before they can go on a rampage shooting people because there are financial costs that the government will incur. You know, that thing tells you, oh, you go to the bereaved family, you get in 10 burger with $500, you story. No. In America, we're talking about multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Because when the government will feed a financial burden, then more than likely they will make all the investment to train police officers when it comes to restraint and knowing how to carry themselves in the public. But in Liberia or most African countries, no, we don't have these things. So people can just do things and get away. Yeah.
Wow. Among you, right? That's why our leadership continue to do what they are doing to our people. Because, for example, if I just talk about rest, I think there was the accident that happened quite recently where, okay, good. That was the presidential convoy. Someone called me and the person said to me, maybe the people, you know, they are having the family meeting, they are negotiating. In fact, the police officer or some of the police hurricane, they are here, they brought rest. Everything about us here is rest. If they not give you rest, like for example, you have someone that's taking care of the entire family. A man, for example, a man who is responsible for the womb or for the family died. They kill him in that phone and man, and the only thing that they're going to use is rest. And guess what, Monk? By the time they give you that 4 or 5 bags of rice, that's it.
Yeah.
My brother, you will walk until you get tired. You will walk, you will cry, even if you not even if you not take time. That frustration will kill you. That's the kind of society we're in today. Let people be able to pay for their mistakes. This mistake shouldn't be only driver that will pay for a mistake that you will give that ticket. That in a simpler form of what I'm saying though, the reason why you see today that the police officer always giving drivers tickets is because these drivers, they violate. So when you violate or when you go against something, you as a government, you should pay. But the monies are there, Mom, and they don't get it.
You know, when you said that the reason most third world countries, that's why I say we are not smart people. We are not a smart species. The reason most third world countries cannot work because the system that we practice, we can barely understand the very system that we practice, right? The whole concept of government, there is something, the word government means people. So the people who are elected representative, they are not the government. They are the one representing us because we all can have somebody executive mansion or Capitol Hill to make laws. So that's how you got a concept of something called a social contract. Social contract means we the people, we are relinquishing certain rights to give it to you guys to represent us. But still the people have responsibility because they are the government. The word government means people. But in Africa, we turn it upside down. We think the people that we elected to office happen to be the real government and we are the people planton. That's why they can treat you like country chicken and when in fact, you the people, you are the real government and those representing you got to get them certain right to even give them the opportunity to serve in that capacity. So the whole idea of government and democracy will got it twisted after that why nothing cannot work. And here is the thing. The government primary responsibility anywhere in the world, protect life and property and to protect the country from both domestic and external threat, which may another country attack you and to make laws and oversight, that's it. But everything that the government can do, the private sector or the people can do it. That's why when you come to this country, everything the government outsources it to a third party, to a contractor, because it's not the government job to come and clean the street. That's why you get private corporation that come.
Oh, yeah, the CBE, for example, in Liberia for me, I will pay. I pay the other CBE people every time they reclaim my debt.
Yeah. You pay for your trash, they come and clean your trash, they recycle it. That's the job of the individual. But you have a limited government, you get a limited capacity, but every little thing, even when a chicken sneeze, you think it's the government responsibility. So nothing will work because the government is not able or cannot be able to give you all the better services in things that you need in the country. That's why you got private enterprises to pick up the load. Nothing will be run by government except when it comes to legislation, protecting lives and property, making laws, and that's it. Nothing more. Everything else, private individual, pick up the slack. Then society will operate.
That's it, my dear brother. That's it. I think you're near it. We worship the people that we give power to, the people that are supposed to do that. In fact, Mark, even even in the law, these people are supposed to even inform our people, educate them, tell them about all of the laws that they are passing or in fact that they've been passing. But more, if I tell you that all the people do here, or everything that they are into here, it's just about political noise, they call noise, they embarrass the people, you know, they muddy the water. Let me just say that way. You know, when you muddy the water, they fetch.
You can see. Yeah, you can see.
All
the fake, you're confused. Nobody can see, nothing visible. You get like you driving in the fog, you know, early in the morning when you're heading around December and January and February, how you can be foggy. You wake up in the morning, you can see your neighbor house, everybody confused. Then, you know, you got to get very, very close before you can see the next person. That's how you're looking there. They muddy the water. Look, Mabel, that lady who was crying for her son, that where they went to see the body and they said the body had decayed, been a while.
Yes.
The story that woman explained, that thing, man, it messed my entire weekend up. Like that's why you come in with a bigger lawsuit, because that woman will have to live with that pain for the rest of her life. Because you don't erase memory. For as long as we are on the planet, you can forgive someone, but the thing they call memory doesn't erase. They will stay with it for the rest of their life and take it to the grave. If you're going to take that woman's son away from her, you don't think the kind of a psychological damage and emotional damage, not even the physical damage itself, the psychological and emotional trauma she will have to live with? Because let me the woman's story. When I want to talk to somebody, my son I can talk to. When I want to do something for me, you just take that person away from her, and you think her life will be the same. This is where you pay huge lawsuit. This is where lawyers come in and say, you know what, you got to compensate.
How many lawyers you saw that other life? Let me ask you, how many lawyers you saw? In fact, how many human rights activists?
Nothing.
You saw that other.
It's acceptable.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's a society, my brother. That's a real fact.
Seguin John Smith, let me say thank you. Yes, in fact, she right here in Liberia. Yes, indeed, it's raining here in Liberia. The rain been falling. So we are even confused as to whether we stay into the rainy season. That means more than well, maybe those people that can study geography, the people that more you got to go back into your closet and tell us as to what because we don't understand anything anymore. The rain fall here like hair mark, even the lightning or the tunnel will come out like we are into the rainy season. So our sister just saying to me, she right. That's a fat mark. The rain fall like hair, but I don't know. Maybe
but I keep telling you, all the global warming, everything that's happening in Liberia or westward all over the world has never been the same. We have been going through a series of climatic changes since the inception of mankind, from the ice ages to the dark ages. People say, oh, global warming, coastal city will be growing on water. Like, you know what? Go and read your history. I don't know which kind of a news you watch, but since we came on the planet, there have been changes. Why do you think you got valleys and mountains, right? Because valleys and mountains, at a certain point in time, you see valleys and mountains, and you see sea. Look, let me just give you a typical example, like how they call the Lake Chad. Now it's dusty, right? The water dry, and people can walk on the land. Former Lake Chad, one of the largest lakes in Africa, now it's dry. Get a football field, right? It happens over time. So places that used to be underwater, now they are above, and some places that used to be above water, they are below. These things, they keep happening gradually. But the one good thing about Liberia is we need rainfall. In Liberia and Sierra Leone, I think they post 2 of the highest average rainfall in the entire West Africa. The only difference is we don't make use of the rain. Because while other people are complaining about drought, we are getting rain, even outside of the season. That will be a blessing in disguise for us. Like I said, the only problem with Liberia is we don't make use of the rainfall, because I gave the example, I said right here in California, right? You know, California produces rice, and when it comes to fruits, more especially when it comes to grapes, they got a wine industry and all those stuff. Look, maybe When there are no rain, the people can end up losing billions of dollars in crops damage. There are no water. You wake up in Labrador every day, no matter what time of the year, you're getting rainfall. You should be happy because rainfall will nourish the soil, make it much easier for things to grow. It fertilizer, you got to be producing more food with rain. But in the case of Labrador, we complain about the rain. I think other countries would wish that they can even get 1/2 of the rainfall that Labrador receives on a yearly basis. And the thing about Labrador, the rainfall has always been consistent. Can you imagine? You complain that it's raining excessively. We have never complained about that we never saw rain. So which one is better? Receiving more rainfall?
But Mark, our farming activities, like for example, our old folks out there, our people who do these farming business, from hand to mouth, they struggle a lot. In fact, especially in this kind of a time, because as far as we are concerned, the rainy season time, they go for break, and during the dry season, like for example, that's the time they have to do all of the brushing of their farm or the bushes, clear the trees and so forth. Then after that, plant the rice before they start waiting for rain. Well, the rain not even giving a chance. So that's a complaint.
Well,
I agree.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. That what they call pick your person. Either way, you will get one irregularity. Either you receive way more rainfall or you go through drought. So I know there are people that will be impacted, especially in Labrador, regular hustle. You wake up in the morning, you want to go out there and hustle. But at the end of the day, in the aggregate, more rainfall is still better as compared to other countries that are going through drought. Because if Labrador was to experience the same thing like China and other countries wherein the Sahara Desert keep expanding, you got nothing but dust and no water, which one you would prefer, maybe? More rainfall or no rain? So I don't really, even though it's not the best of the best condition, but we still take the rainfall. Any day of the week,
yes, indeed. But thank you, Mark. We got to go. We have thanks to all of you people. Those of you who just joining us, please share the show. If you just joining us, that's the best thing to do. Today is Monday, hectic and beautiful Monday, indeed, the 15th of December. We have so many things to talk about yet today. But more quickly, let me just bring you some of the happening back on there. Maybe we can chip in on that before going to our main discussion on today. So the Senate staffers on today, this morning, they were saying today for protesting at the Capitol building there. They made it for salaries increment. They've been complaining. They've been saying this thing for a time with a number that their salaries that some of them are making is low, is below the belt. Some of them are making $150 per month, and that's just not the kind of salary they're supposed to be making. And according to them, they are calling on their officials or senators to do everything possible to increase their salary. So that's passed. Then later on again, they talk about issue of Bucky Raw also surfaced with the LDA finally taking into court the Pennsylvania Ministerial Court, where you were taking and later were transferred to the South Beach to spend his fortnight, and there are mixed reactions to that. If I'm coming from the public land, that some people are saying that they should release him because it's pitiable crimes. Others are saying no, Bucky Rush should go. Drugs issues is not for joke and so forth. So yes, where we are today, Mark, and these are some of the happening. Maybe we can chip in quickly before we go into our issue of discussion on today, especially that have to do with the budget. And the Senate, Senator Amara Coney, also back-to-back posts and accusations and salaries also imposed about, in fact, commented on one of the, I think one of the commenter, he replied to one of the commenter that their salaries is around $7,600 and they make around $2,000 for gasoline and so forth. So all of these things are still below the public, in fact, before the public. And the public are still scrutinizing all of these things in making sure that the right thing be done for the Liberian people. But there are a lot of mixed reaction to the budget. What in there for the people? That's the question, my dear brother. But go ahead.
Well, in the case of Labrador, people are always reacting. That's why on Sktv we talk about the most pressing issues here. We don't look for these sensationalized story, this yellow journalism. That's why our people are interested in. That's why most of the time they are not even informed about things happening in the country. They send staff like you are late to the campaign. Sktv been talking about salary and compensation and people that work for government. It's a form of a dysfunctional government because when you cannot pay people decent wages, it means it will impact governance. And when you are impacting government, then it means you are slowing the progress of the country. So you guys are late to the table. We talk about this thing all the time. We talk about massive protests. The reason you don't go anywhere in your protest because you want to operate like a faction. 1 minute, people from the internal affairs ministry, maybe they only 10 or 20 protesting, and then they no, you got to do that thing on a total aggregate. We're talking about the entire country, all ministry, government agencies. You are not being paid, police officers, military personnel. So that's why you don't get results, and you will keep begging because of the same mentality we keep talking about. But we talk about this thing all the time. Before you can determine wages, you look at living condition, how they can call it, or adjustment for inflation. Why is happening in the country when it comes to inflation, prices, that's how you determine salary. You cannot live in a country wherein your monthly expense will exceed maybe $200 or $250 and somebody pay you $80 or $125 per month. No, then there is no need to have a job. So if you are going to be protesting and you are the closest to power because the lawmakers are the one that make the rules. They are the first branch of government. So if you are the staffers, if you are complaining, then think about the guy that working far away from the corridors of power in government. It just tells you that the country, we are not ready for business. We are not serious. And the politics with the bucket raw issue, I think it is same El Clasico because everything will be seen through the lenses of CDC and Unity Party. So any image out there is the initial reaction, politics. Whether it's about the crime, who committed the crime, whether the crime is worth prosecuting, the first reaction, oh, the law is only applicable to sedition or Unity Party want to play politics like the bucket raw issue. I'm not saying he didn't commit a crime, but the way they portray it, the magnitude, the kind of a leverage, the coverage that is being given, I have to say he committed the worst. And we are seeing people that did 1,000 times worse in the millions of dollars. We are yet to see them being paraded on the street and the kind of a coverage. So for me, I think it's the politics, it's the optics that is being given to this case because people say he more of a sedition and he got some link or friendship with the former president. So maybe that's why. And I don't want to buy into that, but when you look at the images, it seems like why you guys making this? I have to say there's the worst that happened in the whole history of drugs or confiscation in Liberia. For marijuana of all drugs, come on, my brother. I'm not buying that. I think they're just overplaying their hand, and I can sense the political undertone to the story. I'm not saying he's not guilty of any crime, but optics is everything, and I think that's the politics of it. That's why they're trying to play on the minds of the average Liberian, because in terms of the magnitude of the crime, I don't think it carried that much weight compared to what other people did. What other people did is 1,000 times worse than what he even did, even the one that in your possession. So putting him in the car and hanging up, putting the camera and the camera rolling from all angles, like, come on, man, slow down, give me a break. They got people that work, and most of them even work in the government. They are elected officials that into drugs dealing. So come on, let's think about something.
Yes, thank you, my dear. But so also add up to you with the Senate staffers. Indeed, you are quite correct. Mark, I just like the way you thought that you put it. These are people that when we come here, when we talk about the happening of the day, the way our country, the way things are going, there's so many people that will call and say what they want to say, insult us, call us all sort of names, But at the end of the day, everything that we say here and we continue to say here will go back to them as people. That's why we don't go around looking for people personally to be attacking people. Oh, they want to administrate this, he doing this. No. We don't do that. Because we believe that when we do that, we'll be thinking that maybe we are just going against people, telling people, but leaving the national issues. So to that monk, we're in this war, and especially the age and time, like you be paying someone $150 USD per month, especially assigned at the House of Senate. You know what you're talking about? That someone who closer to the power that be, the person making $150. Then you that far from the power, that all the way maybe somewhere that run in Maryland County, how much you want somebody company to pay you? So they will pay you anyhow they want to pay you. Just because they know that your government, it is the champion for bad labor practices. So that's why people are treating you the way they are treating you. Don't get vexed. When we say this, people just feel that maybe because we hate other people. No. But that's the fact. Don't get vexed with any company or any business, even that you work. Get vexed with your own government, because the Decent Work Act, the Decent Work Act of 2015, monk, they talk about the wages. They talk about people who are skilled and people who don't have skill, how much to be making per day. But are these things into effect? No. But we stay singing and dancing to politicians. Now that one lay one side, nobody want to even educate you. Nobody want to even inform you about your own right. Nobody want to tell you anything as to how many months you're supposed to even work for before you can even have day off or before you can even have leave. Nobody cares about that. All you know, they just use you. People use you. You don't go for day off. You don't rest. You don't go for leave. Nothing. But they use you. That's a society. So, Mom, yes. So
You
the
know,
bucket right issue.
you know,
Yeah.
you know the bucket raw. I mean, they not the bucket raw issue, but the staffers from the legislature. When I saw that video this morning, I reflected back on World War II. There was this guy called Martin or Newmolen. He was in the concentration camp during the Nazi rule under Hitler when they were coming after people. He wrote something profound while he was in prison. He said, Fred, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. So that's what happened to our legislative staffer. You have something happening all over the country in every ministry and every agency, but you want for it to hit home before you get to realize that there is a problem. So, and the same applies, like I said, for everyone, whether you work at the finance ministry, whether you work at the legislature, in the president's office, or wage.
But that's a rain. Anytime when you hear someone talking about when the rain fall, the rain not fall on one person. These are things we keep saying.
Yeah.
Where you work, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Where you work, nobody cares about where you work. But, like for example, Mom, if the government come out today and say the least salary in this country, whether you store ball, whether you working on ball, is 200. Mom, tell me. By the time you go to store, you already know how much. Even if the store person fit to higher salary or the 225, that's it. If they believe maybe they want to maybe pay the same 200, we have no problem. If they want to pay 250, that's it. If they want to pay 275, that's it. But as far as the government is concerned, it's 200.
But and maybe I think we talk about this issue on so many occasions on this show. It's one of the reasons people can come and abuse laborers in Liberia, right? Because the government is the one that make the law. Okay, if the government is the one that make the law, then she should be clear on the law and follow every written procedure on the books, right? But if you with a Lebanese man or an Indian man run your store and you hire some local Liberian to come and work in the store, and every time you see on the news that even people that work in the government are protesting for wages, how you think you are going to pay your workers? You won't even respect the laws. Because if the government are putting those same rules and regulations and laws into place, if they cannot even compensate their own employee, why make you think a private investor want to do the same? He will come and underpay them, he will abuse them because, guess what? The government is the one showing the lead. But if government are paying on time and following all the labor laws in the books in terms of decent wages and workers' protection and benefit, how do you think a businessman, the moment he comes to that country, he will walk in chalk line with the law? Because you see what's happening in the public sector. But in Liberia, it's a whole different case. So they got more to protest. And the thing about protest is about magnitude. The more force you put behind a protest, that's how government can succumb to your power. But one day, Ministry of Finance people protesting, another day, internal affair. One day, legislative staff, you will not go anywhere. They will abuse you for the longest and nothing will change because there is no reason for them to change and there's no pressure being put on them. So good luck in your endeavors. I hope it work out for you guys. Well, that's it, people.
And Mom, you don't know everything. So that move to Bucket issue quickly, Mom, before we go, because there are a series of things that some of our people, they don't understand, Mom, they don't know. If you go back to the Control Drugs and Substance Act of 2023 that was signed into law by former President George, we got that even the government now, they are using as law. Mom, they have the non-billable offenses, and they have the penalties, and they have the consumptions offenses. And if you go to if you go to the consumption offenses, you will understand that the use or consumption of controlled drugs and substances is a second-degree felony, but is considered a bailable offense, treating users more as victims, of traffickers. The bail amount is set as twice the value of the substance involved. So some of our people out there today, we understand, maybe you don't know this in the way you're insulting people, you all know on it. But what say you with the drug law? Because sometimes we overplus we add, like you stated, we overplus we add with things that make no sense. Things that are supposed to be educated, or maybe that was supposed to educate our people on. We made this thing look like it's forbidding. But today, when you go back to the drug law, it's telling you now that this case, like for example, in a case of whatever who's in fact who consume, in fact, according to him, he is in fact is a consumer, and it been placed beyond bar. Mom, what say you?
Well, I'm not here to play quarterback for Bucky Raw. Nobody's saying that Bucky Raw is free of any crime. I'm just in the kind of a magnitude that the case carry, the kind of the public display out there is not even close to what we have been seeing. We look at typical example, even at the highest level, the situation between A.B. Kurma and Fadiga. Like I said, it was a very simple case. Both of them cannot be right and both of them couldn't be wrong. But guess what? They were both suspended. So even some of the whistleblowers in Liberia that keep giving this information, some of them are afraid because the government not even following up. And when you really want to fight drugs, you fight it at the supply level, not at the consumption level. Because if people cannot bring drugs into the country, the regular people won't have the ability to acquire drugs. Even the consumers won't be having like just basic supply and demand economic principle. So if you really serious about fighting drugs, you will provide a logistic, you will hire more LDA agents, you will secure the border, you will go to the top of the supply chain and disrupt the flow of drugs. But when you want to make like petty drug user and making them like they say they commit some of the biggest crime, we are seeing people walk out of prison. We are seeing cases that went dead, that were dead on arrival, even though they committed crime. I'm talking about it at the supply side, not the consumer side. The supply side, wherein folks will walk out of prison. You don't even know whether they are in prison, no follow-up on an investigation, and you want to make it, I have to say, Bucky Raw committed the biggest crime on this planet. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not here to play quarterback for him, but the whole publicity and the coverage of him and they display by the LDA and all this stuff, no, I'm not buying into that. It looked more political to me than the substance itself. Most especially the kind of quantity that was found in his possession. No, I'm not buying that. So that's my take on the whole Bucky Raw issue. It carry more political undertone than they actually fighting drugs. No, I don't think so. Maybe they want to make an example of him. That's what that has. Yeah.
Yes, indeed, Ma, you're right. Or you are saying something because it's that maybe they want to use it as maybe one of the person to say, okay, that means in fact we can get rid of anybody, no matter your maybe your position, no matter who you are in society. Yes. Nobody's saying that don't arrest anybody for that matter, but we should also know between the consumer and that of the traffickers, because Mom, you cannot, like, for example, the Zocos. So if you want to even arrest the Zoco, like, for example, and take them into prison, I don't understand why you want to even do that. But again, well, there where we are, the monster. So Mark, let's move now to Senator Amara Kone. All of his posts about the budget is saying here and there, the disagreements and so forth. What say you, man, about that?
There is nothing new that Amara is saying. Like I said, everything we discuss on the show, maybe the surface in the media a day or two later, maybe within a week, but it's the same old thing. And I believe, I would say this on the show 1,000 times, I don't think the media is doing a great job in Liberia when it comes to focusing on the most important story. Maybe that's one of the reasons why people are not informed on certain things happening in the country when it comes to the law, it comes to the things like the budget, the government spending, concession agreement, because the gossip story take more of our time than the real thing that impact people's life in Liberia, whether it's a broken down healthcare system, education. No, when you scour the entire internet in this present moment, when it comes to all the talk show hosts, whether it's the Spoon Network, all the networks on the internet, you won't see them talking about the nitty-gritty issue. I'm talking about the most pressing issue in society. It's all about who stole, maybe somebody building property, property seizure, something that got a kind of optics of the political undertone, like I said, that will get more eyes, because the thing, when you talk about this kind of a sensitive topic, it's boring. Most people don't understand. So, but the thing is, it's more about educating people than just bringing about news, because we live in a 24-hour news cycle, right? They get something they call flooding the zone. 10 events happen in a day. Okay, yeah, we cannot cover all 10 events, but which one carry the most weight? Which one carry the most magnitude in terms of addressing the problem facing society? And that's where the problem is coming from. So I'm not going to just saying that the budget was passed on an aggregate level without people looking at the details. And as lawmakers, they are giving an oversight responsibility to scrutinize the budget. But then there was a pushback from one Emmanuel Law. He was giving his take, and he kind of accused Amara Kone of being an alarmist, someone who tried to play politics because he gives some justifiable reasons. But I don't think those reasons are justifiable from my view, because I don't see what the Amara Kone is saying here that is bad, right? He talked about wherein you can be diverting from. One of the issues he raised was they got a new spending category wherein they allocated more than $256 million. So Americana is warning that things that have been happening before in the budget, you cannot allow it to happen now. And why would the lawmaker be signing budget at an aggregate level without going through the line by line item and making all the scrutiny and the budget transfer from one category to another, even for some things that are unrelated? Like one thing he said was, the public sector investment program, they have funds that were diverted to unrelated recurring expenditure. How do you do that? So it is the job of the lawmaker. We say you should have oversight responsibility, but the very job you are giving your first order of operation, you cannot even get it done. So why are you even getting paid like bureau? Because we say oversight. Oversight means keeping the executive in check. You scrutinizing everything line by line, what they are doing, where they are going wrong. If you cannot do that, then tell me why you wake up from your bed, go to Capitol Building in the name of going to work. Maybe you're a technician. You go up to the studio every day. It's your job to pour on the radio, right? To make all the connection. If you cannot get that job done, I'm talking about giving other assignment. Just the most important part of your assignment. If you cannot get it done, then why you can leave your wife and your daughter to come to the studio? Then there is no need. That is nothing Amara is saying yet.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that also go back.
Logical question to ask.
And that also go back. I think that one of the senators that talk about. I think he said something that's similar to what you are asking more there. I don't know the reason why we come here, but even though we come here for business, I'm trying to get that senator. He said that day.
Oh, they go out there for comedy, that they go there to have fun. It was the guy from Sano County, right? I think from Sano County.
Exactly. Yeah. So we come here already just for the same business as usual.
Yeah, usual.
Oh, yes, I'm not trying to just get you on that, but you're right, Mark. And Mark, that's why, Mark, we are still poor and still looking the way we look for the past 20 years, Mark. It is indeed frustrating that we will be in a democratic system. So let's assume those of you who support politicians here and there, right? We went to war 1989 up to 1990, and that lasted for almost 14 years. 2025, we went into a democratic process, and we have a leadership that took over January 16, 2000. Is that January 16 or 8? No, yeah, January 16, 2006. From January 16 to up to now, 20 years that we've gone already. From January up to now. So we've got 20 years with politicians. And these same politicians, they continue to get rich. They continue to play the games. They continue to do their people the way they want to. They continue to do any other thing that they want to do. Look at yesterday. I was sharing some of the football field. You say you have money. You have budget. You have this. But at the end of the day, all of these monies go back in the pockets of politicians. If we think that we are making progress, Mark, what you just said, my brother, is touching. We think that we are making progress every time when there is budget. But look, just imagine our civil society group also crying, talking that the government now should be able at least to place 1% or to give 1% to civil society groups, including the media. Just imagine, Mark. We've been standing tall for the past 20 years, but nothing in the budget for us. They still citizens that today that because of us today, they can call on the viewer media or on the viewer talk shows and call and express themselves. Today, they can insult us, calling all sort of names that they want to call us. But they are not even thinking that, no, these people, are they really getting support? Are these people getting some part of the budget? No. But all of the budget go back to our lawmakers, go back to the power that be, the president with EU, the vice president, the speaker, the deputy speaker, the senate pro tempore before coming down to the other officials. And nothing there for our people. So the Senator Amara Conan, you're right. But again, this is the Senator Amara Conan, when the election result, that the people said that the men redeemed Liberia, the men rescued Liberia. But today, are they listening to Senator Amara Conan Monk? That's a question I'm asking you and the rest of the other people. Or are they seeing him as someone, maybe like, for example, opposition?
Well, the thing is, I don't think Amra is saying the wrong thing. All Amra is saying, we have a historic budget, and this budget we cannot follow similar pattern like thing that we did in the past. We got to exercise our oversight and constitutional duties as lawmaker. We cannot just pass the budget in one scoop rather than looking at the information and the details of the budget. And he gave a lot of instances. I think one of the points he made was, okay, the state-owned enterprises, they provide no financial data in the draft national budget. So how can you even come up with allocation in terms of the budget to know where to make necessary investment? Because I know the state-owned enterprises operate like a susu club. I think maybe that way they can pay the president directly, because I don't know how state-owned enterprises can give no data. They cannot make remittances into the state coffers when it comes to revenue generation. But then when they're making budget, they can make projections, because I know it based on the information before you can make projection of a budget. That's one thing. Another thing Amara raised was salary increased by 13 million. But there is no increase in the full-time staffers, and people that are even working right now don't have an increment in their salary. So how come in the budget you are reflecting $13 million of increase in salary? How can you explain that? Show me the people that you hired recently, or show me how many percent you raise their salary by to give me a 13% or $13 million budget increase. But from an observation going between this law guy, I think because he finds himself in the executive, so he's trying to play defense for the government. Because some of the excuses that he gave, that within the public financial management law, that you can move money here and there. I'm not saying you cannot move money. All he's saying, where are you moving this money, and what are the details? Because some projects that were already approved in the budget, you take money from there and spend it somewhere else that is totally unrelated to what the money was intended for. And why are you creating this whole new category in the sum of $256 million on government spending? And look at the excuses that Emmanuel Law gave. Sometimes by-election can pop up here and there, the reburial of former leaders. How many leaders we have that die in recent time? He's talking about debt payment, sometimes health intervention. We're talking about charity and like somebody sick and they go and appeal to the government. Is that a logical explanation to give for millions of dollars being spent unrelated to what they were intended for, most especially when it comes to public sector investment program? How do you justify that? But you can't blame him. He's a consultant in the finance ministry. He on the executive side, so he got to play quarterback and protect his job. But I don't see nothing wrong with what Amara Kono is saying. These are legitimate concerns. These are legitimate arguments. I hope other lawmakers can pounce on it and really go back and review the entire budget process line by line. Because to make, like I said, to make projections, you need to look at data. And when there are no data provided, then how can you make those projections? So Amara Kono is 1,000% right on this one. I don't know where this Imaya Floyd is coming from with consultancy and he on the knowledge when it comes to budgeting and finance. I really don't know, because the budget is a law. So he's talking about Amra Kono trying to be an alarmist. Maybe he's saying that it's an alarmist rhetoric. With me, Amra trying to play politics, but he's not interested in the right thing happening. But when we look at the details, I think Amra is the one that is not playing politics. I think you are the one playing politics, and you're looking at the job security issue. That's all I can say between those.
Yes, indeed, Mark. Because from all indications, I think Amara Kono or Senator Amara Kono want them to do better. I think that was he doing, because he don't want them to fail. He don't want them to be looking at, or maybe to be looked at as people who maybe who wouldn't better the life of the people. Because this issue of health, Mark, it's serious. And let me be frank, my brother. There are so many incidents, and so forth, that even if you go to hospital, especially pregnant women, when they go to hospital without money, nobody want to tend to them. Nobody want to give them attention. And these things are things that have been happening times where our neighbors, sometimes most of our sisters, our mothers, our pregnant women die just because of lack of money. Today, you are talking about health. And if I'm wrong, let me take you back quickly to the lower house. So how come the lower house didn't even see all of these things and they passed the budget, the 4G with speed?
You say what?
I say, how come the lower house, they have to pass the budget also with speed? We are even thinking, because they are the direct representative of the people. How come they pass the budget like that? We are even injecting or putting some of these things to play to say, no, I think, let's look at this. Nothing was there. The only thing was the budget had been passed by the lower house. There were no anything like civil service increasement, have benefits, or all of this is nothing.
And that's why I think he's right, because even though they all have oversight responsibility, but we talk about direct representation of the people happen to be the lower house. So if you expect anyone to carry on the real oversight, it should come from the lower house. And there's the confusing part. That's why I can tell you, I always tell you that people have no interest in politics, and they have reason to have no interest in politics, because you would think that there are more oppositions in the lower house than in the upper house when it comes to the executive. So if you're going to pass a budget scrutiny, if you want to make sure that all their dogs are in row, you will expect the representative, the lawmakers at the lower chamber to be the one doing this work. It cannot be at the upper house, right? Maybe, and that's what I'm saying. I think in this case, Amara is making a legitimate argument. Take, for example, when he said you are diverting funds from public sector investment program to unrelated recurring expenditure. Typical example, public sector investment program begins something like a road, right? You're building roads. The money allocated for roads, how can you take it and go give it to some employee at JFK? They are not related. Even if you want to do them in favor, the fact of the matter is you cannot be taking money from public sector investment program that benefit people just to come and pay someone salary or to make up for some kind of expense that you cannot give account of. So all he's saying, we got to look at the budget in details. We got to close the loophole. We cannot just keep transferring money here and there without accountability, because that's the most important thing. Like I said, the reason these guys keep doing this thing because people don't pay attention. They believe they can abuse people and get away. How many people of Melbourne will be able to actually explain the budget process and to tell you exactly what's happening? Not too many outlets will be about that news. So even though it's in the local dailies, Front Page Africa, Caribou, it's not new on SKTV. We've been saying it. There's a country where in the people are a rim of power, the hem of power. They can just call a budget, knowing that the budget is also a law in the constitutional provision, right? It's the largest financial instrument in the whole bureaucracy in Liberia. If you got pro tem and the speaker and the president can call people and change budget, it means you have no regard for the constitution. So Amara Conan, thank you for sharing light, but we've been saying the thing for the longest on SKTV. We are not new to this topic, even though you are throwing light on it, but that's just standard operating procedure. And I don't know, I cannot bet that too many senators will even join this fight, because they themselves, they will just be in alignment with the lower house, except for a few people talking. And when you got few guys talking in the body, right? Maybe out of 30, only Amara Conan raising this issue. Maybe why make you think I should be optimistic that something will change, or they will even say exercise oversight? Because how many are they even supporting Amara Conan idea?
That's the thing, Mark.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes some of the guys, or in fact, some of our leaders, sometimes they see this thing like, my man, you go do your own fight, or you go cry your own cry. If you survive, well, that's it. And if nothing, then we'll kind of join. And so that was, cry for ever so long about salary reductions and so forth. But, even to that, there are SOEs that you're talking about, Mark. Yeah, I don't know what kind of country is this.
Yeah.
You have SOE, like, for example, Melbourne, let me put it in a simpler form. Melbourne selling, maybe Melbourne have one of the weather market for government, and Melbourne sell for government. But Melbourne not be put into government in a simpler form. Let me tell you, now what the SOE, some of the SOEs, now what they into, they collect money for government, but they use the money any kind of way they want to use it. They do anything they want to do with the monies, and in fact, some of the places, Mark, that for example, they pay their directors $4,000. I hope that the directors they even looking at all these things, because if you're saying that you want for the lawmaker's salary to come down, I know that the executive, the people from the executive, they don't want to do it. They will not want to make their salary to come down to any kind of amount until maybe there will be a serious protest. That's the only way. But Mom, if you have a director right now assigned some of the offices, the person making $4,000 per month, is that not an insult? Just director to just sit down there, for example, you all know them. Some of the people that just passing around, nothing they're doing. They just want to internet, they cost people. Every month end, they get them 4,000. Some of the SOEs just passing around, nothing. Come on, man, there, brother, we gotta go. I
will check
you
guys.
I think I will need you, brother. I need you coming on.
No, I'm taking my break, brother. I gotta cancel in the drink. I gotta go drink my hot tea. I'm too cold here, though. Yeah. All right. But Ali can continue the conversation. I won't just be active maybe for the next.
Yes, indeed. So, brother Ali, you will be talking a little bit, maybe on some of the issues Then later on, I will join you also in that so that we can go. But what's up, you, my brother? Good evening. Welcome.
You got Ali? I'm not seeing Ali on the screen. Maybe he's in the back.
The man giving the buying.
Sorry, my brother. Good evening. Welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon. What's up, man? How they cool with you?
We managing it. We can't complain. We signed up for this for years now, for decades. So we're okay.
Yeah, that's it. We already inside.
So what's the check? The budget raw issue and your budget for the budget is nothing new. Like I just told the audience, we've been saying these things forever. So whether it's the senator or the president, they all late to the show. We've been saying this thing for the longest time. You have no regard for the law. You can just transfer money at will. No oversight responsibility. You're almost like a candy store. And our lawmakers, like the kid in the candy store, they can just do anything and everything and just walk scot-free. And at a certain point in time, Ali, it looked like the whole issue about so-called advocacy from few lawmakers, I think it's like a stage. It get like a play, like a drama. They be like, okay, since we can all abuse the Liberian people, let's just pretend like we got some people holding the line. Maybe 3% will speak against, but the vast majority of the entire body, they support the other side. But at least to get the Liberian people to believe that somebody talking, let's get 1 or 2% go and make contradictory statement. That way, the people will believe that, we'll get 1 or 2 lawmakers that are working there for us. But at the end of the day, the entire cartel is on one side of the table. That's how I see it.
That's why they say majority carry the rule, and that's why they can say. The problem here, among we know, like you said, American, but quick the bucket raw issue, like I said the last time, even though we are hearing so many things on it is somehow political and what have you. Like I said, this government, they are not serious in doing anything. Because anything this government you want to do it holistically and not selectively. I will always say this, when it comes to fighting drugs, this government, they are not serious to fight drugs. Like, if you can arrest people with drugs because of their proximity with the president and his children, the first family I can say, or the Unity Party, and today we can see those people. But there are other people you arrested with drugs today, they are behind bars. Then are you really serious in fighting drugs? Or will be able to set precedent? Oh yeah, this guy, one of the strong Unity Party supporter, this lady, today she's behind bars for drugs. This other guy, you saw him in picture with the president and his children to tell you how close he is to these people. Today he behind bars, but you allow them to leave the country. You say, you go. We are the one in power. We in charge. And then you going after other people. Chairman Bedete's son and other today, they have behind bars for drugs allegations. You see, today is bucket raw. And even though people say it is political, and from what we are hearing, everything in this country now is between CDC and that of the Unity Party. Bucky Roll, like one of the top artists or musicians in the country, being on the CDC side, like one of the LDEA officer posted, even though you and I, we are friends, but I was doing my job, I think he had been suspended for that post that he made. So all of these things, let those people do what they want to do. They can carry bucket raw. They can go through that investigation. Like I said, bucket raw, we is legal in some of the states in America, like my state here. Monkey be standing right over there, policeman standing here by my way, are smoking right in front of him. Nobody can arrest me for that.
Recreational marijuana not acceptable in America.
Oh yeah, so if you say you can take it for inspiration or any other thing, it is not legal in our country, Liberia. Okay, that's the problem I have with you. No matter how the quantity is, I don't know if the drugs law in Liberia, that certain quantity they can see you with, they don't arrest you.
About that.
Okay, like in the America, certain quantity they don't have time for you. Certain quantity, no, you supposed to have such quantity within your possession. I don't know the drugs law in Liberia. Okay, but smoking weed in Liberia is not legal. Whether you're taking it for inspiration or whatsoever, it is not legal in the country. So you have to answer question for that, be it political or none. That's my stand on this whole bucket raw issue.
Yeah, and maybe myself said the same thing. We are not here to play defense for bucket raw. I'm just saying they kind of for attention and publicity, they're making it to seem as if to say he committed one of the biggest crimes when it comes to the sale of illicit drugs in the country. And we've seen people that have committed crime on a larger scale, 1,000 times worse in terms of quantity, and even some of the most deadly drugs that can even put people's life at risk. But they were able to walk out of prison. They were able to get extra a slap on the wrist and walking away scot-free. We don't see them, we don't hear them, we don't know if they are in any kind of a solitary confinement or facing jail time or prison time. But the whole Bucky Ross story, like I said, the publicity and the coverage, it just doesn't worth the quantity of possession that he had at the time. And one of the things that I saw during the weekend, he directly looked into the face of another D. You can smoke getting with us on a daily basis, and you the one bringing people to arrest me. I'm like, what? That's allegation. I mean, if I had LDA, but I'm calling that guy for an immediate hearing quick at the headquarters because you went to arrest someone and he's on Facebook Live telling you that you smoke it every day with them. And the keyword with us, and you're bringing people here to come and arrest me, my brother.
That's what you see. Like I saw DJ Blue writing they arrested huge quantity of drugs from in a district, and today you don't know where are those people. I say you're just wasting, because when I saw the drugs they arrested from Jato, Notan, La Brave Bell, I was thinking, see how large drugs were passed. So how did they think enter the country? Through the airport, through the border? Where were the security for this kind of drugs to enter the country? See how Latin were well passed. But today, since they arrested our drugs, we can't hear anything. That's their case. You see? And the issue about Amarakone, you are doing well. Yes, this is what we want to see. But unfortunately, you can cry wolf, that budget is going to be passed. So whatsoever you are doing is just to be on the record for Liberian people to know that, oh yes, Amarakone look at this budget and he called on the House for them to scrutinize the budget in a way that it will be in the interest of the Liberian people, not just lawmakers and government officials. Okay, like Mong, you were asking, because I've been following the show, they are increasing salaries and things wherein today we even say half of people to the lower hall, their staffers, they were protesting for salary increment. Instead of giving them back or rest every holiday season when Christmas coming, you'll be giving them back or rest. Why can't you increase these people's salaries? You see, because these are things you can be on. And you mock the question you were asking, people said that George, we had harmonized my salary, we will harmonize a vote. Doing my the administration, you and I know, she the one king with the issue of paying people 15,000, 20,000. And some of those people were working in George Weah administration, and he said nobody can make that money within my government. I will cut down people's salaries to 7,000, 8,000. So because their salaries were cut or harmonized, they used the people out there. Oh yeah, George Weah can harmonize people's salary down to 7,700. They cut their salaries and things. And today, if you ask him why is it a huge increment going to salary and 7,700 are not getting anything, they are increasing those people's salary that were harmonized during Weah administration. You can see those people say they are cutting, they are cleaning the payroll, taking ghost name from there. How will you be cleaning the payroll, taking out ghost name, but your wage bill keep exceeding than the previous amount? You see, so to tell you that those people, they only came to rescue themselves. The issue about salary harmonization, they are on doing salary harmonization, but only for themselves. You can be increasing a budget to 1.2 billion. You still have people making $80, $90, $100, $150. You have to pay your rent. You have to go to work from Monday to Friday, transportation, children's school fee, everything. How can you save? How can your income, your expenditure be more than your income? So this is why you see millions of dollars going to salary. They are increasing their salary. They are on doing salary harmonization for themselves and not for the ordinary people out there. Like the House of Representatives, all in all, the cost chairmanability there, they finish with that thing. You see, In as much as the people have a regime speaker, these are some of the reasons that got our capital building to be burned down today. Because for Natikufa said, I will be here to work with the government. I'm not going to be like opposition speaker to post stop to budget and other things. When the budget is in the interest of the country and the citizen, I will make sure it will be passed. The man say, okay. You see, they issue a yellow machine till we can go through it properly, but will not pass any budget that money will be allocated there for any yellow machine till it can be done properly. Say we're coming for you. And this is why they get a regime speaker. Any budget, any concession agreement, contract and thing, once it is in the interest of Joseph Boakai, it's going to be passed. Like Amara Kone say, we need to scrutinize the budget to make sure the president developmental agenda are achieved. The president know about that budget. Okay. He knows everything. See the money that going to NSA 18. That they are under pepper bush. All of these things they are doing, the president is aware. So just speak for Liberian people. Don't say he's scrutinizing budget to make sure you carry on the president developmental agenda. He's not, the president is not even thinking in that direction. If he was thinking in that direction, you were going to start talking to them. No, this budget, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Because while he promised Liberian people quality healthcare, quality education, you people campaign with him when he was on those stages, on the podium, and telling Liberian people. The previous administration, they're using the country money, sending their children abroad to get quality education, while your children are here selling all in the street. When I take over, no child will be in the street. Our brothers and sisters will not be out there selling. There will be quality education. I will pay teachers so they can be able to teach your children to get the same quality education their children out there are getting. What are your educational policy? Locally budget. So speak for Liberian people. Don't speak for the president. A deal with the president said they can even say carry that budget to 1.5 billion. When their salaries, allowances, and benefits are increasing, he not care about the Liberian people. This is the kind of person we have. So Amara Kone, you are doing a great job, but we get the Senate Pro Tem, we get Prince Mui, then we get Yombi Kanga in our place.
It's a waste of
Yes,
time.
do what you're doing, but you cannot stop it. It's going to be passed. They're not going to pay no attention to you.
I think that's where they consulting from the final ministry. I think that's where he's coming from when he say he's just an alarmist, because the impression here is you just doing it for politics, but you guys are on the same team when you come to robbing the Liberian people and stealing from them. So even though you are saying the right thing, but you don't have that moral authority to come and tell us what to do here. I think that's why he implying, because I don't know how you can disagree with what Amara Kone is saying. But the question is, how many Amara Kone are there in the Senate? That's why when you go into politics and into legislative politics, in respect of which party is support the guys in the caucuses, the whole idea of caucuses is a particular interest where you can have compromise on. Whether it's about civil liberties, whether it's about budget, whether it's about healthcare, you got caucuses where you got other supporting lawmakers. When anything arises, they will be there to speak as a unit, as a team. They are a caucus. They got one goal. But in the case of Liberia, you don't see nothing.
Nothing.
Okay, you can call him out, cry. You can call him back and insult all he wants. He will raise all the issues. But the question is, of all 73 in the lower house, how many Yeke Koluba are there to make any major impact when it comes to legislation or passing bill or ratifying contract? Zero. So at certain point in time, I like, if I'm in the kid Yeke Koluba, I might as well just go with the team, because the reason you raise an objection is to get a different result. You want to change the way business is being done, right? You want to change business as usual. But why is the essence of complaining all the time only for things to remain the same? And there is no possibility that your colleagues are even interested in what you are saying. So I don't blame it. Now, like I said, it's one of the reasons people choose not to participate, because they find out it's useless, it's worthless to waste your time and energy when it comes to this matter. Because at the end of the day, even the one from their respective districts, they are not going to be the one to talk to the Liberian people. Yeke Koluba alone cannot change legislation, no matter how long he shot. They can give the megaphone in the war, it won't do nothing. So they know exactly what they are doing. It all depends with the people who are sending them to power. Are they keeping score of this thing? Are they going to change them in terms of representation? Because I cannot be in Liberia from a district and all the issues that were raised on Sktv and people like Yeke Koluba, sometimes my ability will champion. But the question is, even if you champion in the essence or the outcome is not just for chiming in. We want result. But how can you get result? In a body, you need numbers. When it came to the speakership, we saw rule of law caucus. They were hammered 31.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the rule of law caucus? Why you don't talk about the budget? Why you don't talk about stealing? Why you don't talk about state-owned enterprises not making payment into government consolidated account? Where is the rule of law caucus? I'm talking about the lower house. I'm talking about the Senate. And how
expect them to stick together. Mm-hmm.
What happened to the pro-tem, the Dillons of the war? How many of them are going to speak up? Because, like I said, it's becoming more of a performance art. Because it like other organizers sit down and nobody talk yet, but we can just talk, like I said, get to create an impression that they are certain lawmakers that are against the way how business is being conducted. But at the end of the day, they know they will be on the same team. That's how I see it. Because if it was another case, then it means maybe 10 other lawmakers in the Senate who have joined Amara Conan Ben. We're going to have a press come to say, okay, 10 days of historic budget. We will make sure we go through every line item in the budget, every spending aspect of the budget, revenue aspect, to make sure that we can get the most in terms of going to places where this money were allocated to be made in terms of investment. But you are telling me, and yeah, the fundamental thing between the harmonization from where to Joseph Boakai, right? Let me tell you something. A lot of people were dissatisfied with the way in which public servants, or public official salary were increasing on Madam Salif. So when the way our government came, when they talk about reducing, morally, it was the right thing to do. Logically, it was the right thing to do economically. But here's where the problem came from. They overstaffed the government payroll. So technically, the thing that should have been seen as a good gesture in the other Liberian people, it was almost like you are robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're cutting people's salary, but you hire more than the number needed to run the government. So all you are doing, you are only transferring money from one group to another. But even at that, it still wasn't a bad thing. Liberian was still getting paid, even though it wasn't that much. But you can say the government added more people to the payroll. Okay, even though they cut other people's salary, but still some people benefited. The one that I cannot wrap my head around with this so-called 42-year-old Mr. Wisdom, Mr. Wise. How can you are not hiring new government employees? You are not increasing existing employees' payroll. Then how your budget in terms of payroll keep rising? How? At least where we are, when he talk from someone and get to another person. Okay, I understand that. Morally, economically, it's not right. But at least morally, other people are still benefiting. My thing here is you are not hiring new employees. You got more of volunteer workers in your government. You are not increasing salary, but yet the government wage bill keep increasing, and that's something Amara is raising. So how could Amara be wrong? Going to this Emmanuel law. God,
that's the problem.
Mm-hmm. On the subject matter. Or maybe he's just saying Amara is trying to expose the same government that he supported. That's what I'm telling you. Emmanuel law, you sound more like a politician than Amara Conan. Because what Amara Conan is saying is not a lie, it's the truth. So how can your guy like you from the finance ministry can play defense in quoting some funny law that make no sense, talking about or transferring of funds in a part of the budgetary process? But the question is, why and how are you doing it? Why are you creating new spending or adjustment under the government in terms of financing unrelated projects? Taking money from public sector investment program and putting it to places that's not even. I don't know what to say. Let me stop there. I'm out of it.
Mom, actually, excuse me, President Boakai, he really disappointed people. Like you once said on the show here, people elected this old man with the mindset that when he can, he won't steal. And the amount of time he spent in government, he know the issue facing the country. He was going to make sure he change things in the country. But unfortunately, we are not seeing that. And Amara, yes, you will say, oh yes, Amara, you people brought this on us because you brought this government to power. Like you were saying, Mom, or Amara, you were the one people, you were crying all around, oh yeah, Liberian people have been rescued. You rescued the country from, you're handing over to President Boakai. And Amara is frustrated. He's disappointed because this is not what they voted for. What is happening is not what they expected to see. Because he worked with Madam Salif Joseph Boakai, serving as vice president for 12 years and meeting that is one opportunity. So people felt that, oh yes, if they all make a come up, like I listened to Reverend Kennedy Sandy, this was one of the reasons for which he supported President Boakai, because he was able to admit that, oh yeah, we squander opportunity. So he had that mindset. If this old maker admit that they squander opportunity, then we think when he come, he will do better. He know what to do to move the country forward. But unfortunately today,
unfortunately, making you put square root on today.
yes. So
Well,
that's nothing, because the Reverend Kennedy were talking. If people supposed to go to school and you are stopping them from going to school because why you are not paying their parents, that wickedness. If people supposed to get health care today, they can't get health care because no medicine in the hospital and the money is there. You are using it for yourself. That wickedness. So you refer to Joseph Boakai as wicked old man. You see, someone that he supported. So we will sometimes say, hey, you people brought this on us, but they have said they never expected that. But again, this mayor worked for 42 years without no achievement record. There is nowhere, nothing Joseph Baga can say, when I work here, this is what I did. Nobody can come and speak to what he did to those places. What did he achieve? 12 years as vice president, he told you I was like a race car parking in the garage. I couldn't do anything. Now they have taken you from the garage. What have you done? 2 years, you still asking for time. So it's like he asking for another 6 years because you know your first 6 years is a failure.
Maybe.
Yeah, pardon.
You know, I told people on this show I'm never afraid of Joseph Boakai. They did that guy anything present against the president. But I knew from day one that certain leadership characteristic allow for him to back and support their candidacy. And I knew he never had one. Going back to the days of Madame Salif. You know, anybody that don't take responsibility in life, they can never make progress. The first way, when you accept what you are doing is not right, that the only way you will make a change, you will start looking for a different way. And this president, he always shift blame and never speak on any national issue. He uses silence, like I said, as a political tool. So that when he's doing something, because people already got a perception that he doesn't speak on anything nationally. So even if he's in the process, how can you vilify him, right? How can you go against him when he barely talk on anything? The one that can surprise me of all the missteps from this administration, Joseph Boakai worked with state-owned enterprises, not even one, from LPMC managing director to LPRC. And one of the way in terms of revenue generation that the government can make insight as to how they will come up with a budget is for state-owned enterprises to make all the money that they generate into the government consolidated account. The question, if I had the opportunity of media to ask you, when you were at LPRC or LPMC, are you telling me you never used to make contribution to the government account? Because I know of any effective chief executive, the moment you mess with revenue, you are out. And Joseph Boakai is not only president now, he served at those same state-owned enterprises. And two of the state-owned enterprises that always appears in the news, LPRC and Freeport. Why do you think that is the case? Because they generate revenue on a consistent basis. So you think that you will want to believe that a man who work at those same state-owned enterprises, he will be very rigid when it comes to those enterprises making contribution to the budget. But every time it's in the news, and now one day he ever came out and said, you know what? Enough is enough. I worked there before. I got a history. So maybe Joseph Boakai is telling us indirectly that when he was LPMC managing director, LPRC, maybe he was one of those sitting money and carrying it home. Because if I work in those places and I'm president today, there is no way they won't be able to make contribution. That you will be fired. The moment the news come out, it won't even carry an investigation. You will be out. Because I know you are owning money, the revenue process of the country, which will indirectly cripple my government. Because how can we make allocation and be able to make projections in the future when you cannot even give data, financial data, as to how much you are collecting? Most especially Freeport. That's why they got a name, the gateway of the Liberian economy. So why are they making contribution? And the news, you don't hear nothing from the president. It can really baffle me. I have no idea.
I think maybe we'll take one of the, if not tomorrow, maybe throughout the week, we'll look at this issue of the SOEs not being able to contribute to the budget, you know, and then news keep going wild to our people that most of the people, they are not contributing anything, they're taking the money. Because I think if you heard me from the beginning of the show, I said that there are some entity that are also paying directors 4,000 just to sit in the office. For example, they maybe will create they lay office for you. Just come here and sit and maybe every month you pay maybe 4,000 for doing nothing, just to go on the internet and to react to people, to either to insult people. Come on, you know, They were saying a lot of Google things, especially when the one that you talk about the president, the issue of harmonization and so forth. You know, Monk, that one thing myself, I continue to wonder about that. Even why would you want to even reduce the poor people's salaries and leave the other people out? Well, that's another thing that you said. But let's go back to the president of ours who said that he came to rescue the people. Guess what, Mark? Let me tell you. President Walker has been trapped. You know, they put him into that corruption thing. Right now, the president, he can't easily survive from all of these things. You know what they do? Let me tell you, Mark, maybe before you come in, right? When the guy bought his first car, how they call him, the guy from the Ministry of Commerce that resigned.
I call the guy, Ami Moda.
Just follow all of these things, right? So when Ami Muda bought the $95,000 car, when that thing went wide, the president came out and filed. He pressured Ami Muda to resign, and he did. The same president said that if he will round Weber, that was the time the president made that statement. That even when you call for him to round Weber to go to work, he would do it. But what happened? In less than a month, or maybe a few months from that end, what happened? The president was saying, what, $1.5 million, or in fact, $1.5 million cars. So that tells you that the cartel, these government or officials who claimed that yesterday the livelihood of our people was terrible and they are coming to rescue our people, are the same people today who are dividing the Liberian people money any way they want to do it. So for me, I'm very concerned about the SOE not being able to contribute any cent. Even one of the Bakuba Gion that we're having yesterday, we vote the Riverside County Senator.
Oh, Beltwari
even contributed $7 million to the Liberia national budget. But to see that any money you make, you carry home, well, myself, I'm concerned about that. Maybe for me, all I can say. Any other thing, then move on.
And maybe apart from the point you just made, the funny thing too, you can see how quickly the president can react when it comes to firing certain people, right? Like the situation with Wilmer Pay, Dr. Nyan from the National Institute of Public Health, right? You ask yourself, okay, these people, you can call them technical individuals where they work, even if there was some political differences, but that quick response, that initial reaction, where in the case of Dr. Nyan, he fired him before even carrying on an investigation, before even he was given the opportunity to explain himself. He was gone. So for a man that have a history of working at state-owned enterprises, how can he be silent on things happening? Not the first year, since the administration came to power, it has been reported of all the state-owned enterprises, the two major one of them, the LPRC and the Freeport of the National Port Authority. How in the world they cannot be making contribution and not a single response you got from the president or any course of action taken, and it keeps happening year after year. So it means they can only be there to work for the president. It can only be a slush fund created for the president because he worked there, like I said. Joseph Baga worked at LPMC, LPRC, Agricultural Ministry. So nothing in government is new to him.
So but are they keeping the money more maybe for election purposes or what?
Yes,
yes.
Why they carrying the money? Because I don't want to know.
Yes, that's why they keeping the money for election time. That's why the people want to make sure to stay in power. So right now they had to start saving money for election. You see, like Monk said, Joseph Boakai worked to agriculture, LPMC, LPRC. This is why I say Joseph Boakai disappointed the people. And these are some of the reasons for which people elected this old man, that he has the experience. Like you said, you know when you were working to LPMC, LPRC, all of these places, you know the money you can generate there to put money in the budget to make sure to get the country running, to change the lives of the people. And you being in government for 42 years, 12 years as vice president, people expected this old man to have known better, that he could come and transform the country. But today, people are disappointed. You see, some of them, they will only pretend like all is well, but they know. But all because they supported a party. Today, we see people talking, okay, when they pass the budget, chairman, they shouldn't take pay when they give him money, he shouldn't take his salary, saying he complaining. And I see it in the tell the American. Okay, say you complaining when they pass the budget, anytime they pay you, don't take pay till the day the budget come down the way you want it. You who talking that thing? You even say get job, you say that home begging for somebody to give you $15 to buy her back or rest for you to feed your family, and you're talking this kind of nonsense. This issue about party sentiment is destroying our country. The people you will advocate for, they are the one to be insulting you, and then from there they go to be begging people. You see, you dare to be praise-sinking people who are the cause of the poverty you are living in. What sense does that make? So Joseph Walker disappointed people. People are surprised of this old man. And this is why you see he calling for time. If a president can get 4 years and he's still calling for time, he just tell you literally that even the 4 year he get is just a wasted year. Maybe another 6 years, then he will try to put policy. Any government that don't have policy, you are done. And I one of the things that suffering them, they just came to power, there were no plan, no vision, no policy. When are they going to sit down now to strategize? It is already late. When
is one other aspect, and that's why I say the politics in Liberia, you can just suck the energy out of you because you have no sense of direction, no clear purpose, right? We can put the president on the side burner or the back burner for now. Let's just look at our lawmakers. It has been reported that the 10th year in a row that they don't make remittances into the government consolidated account, and the lawmakers are the one giving oversight responsibility. Just recently, they told us that certain individuals skipped them and went to the upper house, where in fact they should have sat with the lower house to go over the whole issue of the budget before they can go to the upper house. But the question you will ask yourself, you got a major opposition party in CDC. There are other lawmakers from different parties. Some of them are independent lawmakers. They are now working at the will and pleasure of the president. Why are they not putting their feet down by investigating people and making criminal referral? Because it's not in all cases within the president, right? The budget comes to the House for scrutiny, oversight responsibility. 3 years in a row, I'm a CDC lawmaker, and I'm hearing that someone from Freeport or the LPRC, they are not making contribution to the national coffers in terms of revenue generation. How in the world they are still there? That's why you got lawmaker conduct investigation and make criminal referral to the Justice Department.
Let me chip you on that, because I think you are making a great point here. But most of the people, they have been overloaded, they have been stepped on. For example, most of them, they are district development fund or some of their money they're supposed to get. They are no longer getting it because, Monk, we have the presidency or we have the kind of executive branch of government that when alone they are not in line with you, Monk. The Ministry of Finance will do everything possible to seize all of your benefits and things that you're supposed to get allegedly though, because on the cry on that, even including district number 9 representative, or how they call him. The guy from district number 9 also cry on that. Yes.
Whosoever it is.
Safoko also cry, and most of them, in fact, they've been crying, Monk. So for me, sometimes I don't really want to say, oh, maybe they're not talking, they've been talking. Even when Musa Hassan Benete, one the point that you even complaining that a band or Santana, you haven't received a district development fund, or maybe it's something that is supposed to get.
But
so,
maybe,
yeah,
it's a problem, right? They say screen come in number, they seem to be talking about the protest. We ain't talking about 1 or 2 lawmakers talking here and there. There are 73 in total. United Party can have both of even 30 lawmakers in the House, right? If you look at the number, they can give you 30, right? So you're telling me if all the other lawmakers, the opposition put with the independent lawmaker, people who ran on other parties, you're telling me if they were to mount a pressure to demand accountability in terms of oversight, are you telling me the government going to deny all their district development for all the other 40 lawmakers or 35 lawmakers? Is that why you are saying?
Then why unity can work? Only unity, love for country, only can work. But let me tell you more to that. Why you going so? The other man who claim to be independent, as you may call, he going on the other side. Can you imagine more? And that's a frustrating thing before go to the line. People will bring you to power just because they feel that you are independent, that you can work, that kind of way for them. Only to see you dancing. In fact, they come December 6th. Most of the other independent candidate, I think it's all joining the Unity Party, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because that's the case. Because the only reason we have opposition in the country is to keep the ruling party in check. So technically, why you guys telling me here is we might as well go to a one-party state.
Oh, yeah.
Then there is no need. Because the only reason you're
every time when the government is in power, Every time when the government is in power, that one party says, that's it, you're right. So every time when there's government, even citizens when they're in power, they one time, yes, that one party. Until opposition, or maybe they took over and so on. So until there will be another new opposition that will take over. But for now, as far as we are concerned, that one party says saying,
so in other words, you are saying we only have multi-party democracy when we go to the ballot box. Once we finish vote everything at one party state, how we talk about a military rule? It makes no sense. There is no need. And that is why I keep saying the people who choose not to participate, they are 1,000% right not to participate because there is no need. But anyway, God, Ali, I don't know you guys to say that we can go to the
Ali, anything before go to the line quickly?
No, let's listen to the people from there.
077-0203-3125. That's the number to call this evening to be part of the SKTV show. Right here on Truth FM 96.1. Let me go to the line and pick our first call. David King, good evening.
Good evening, Milborn, and let me say good evening from my end here to Mon and Dara Aliu. You see where we are now. Aliu said something. He said, Amara Kone were the guy who were crying and were calling him the savior. Say, you saved the country. Oh, Amara Kone, you saved the country. And he was there sharing crocodile tears. But it was not even two months in the new government that he brought. They were calling him savior, and then he got disappointed. Because some youth that he used, maybe one of my picking were involved, they were in a war room, doing all of the dirty work for them. Those guys were promised a scholarship to leave from here to go study. At the end of the day, the guy went to Amakone office, to and from, until Amara told him that, my picking, I will be furnished only for you, but there's no hope. You shouldn't depend on the people. I have spoken with them on countless occasions. President Baga has not given me the attention. And that is just a Baga for you. He will help you. I mean, you will help you to get it somewhere. At the end of the day, you will leave it young. Those guys, we already got 73 of them. Nothing happening for us in the country. Then you want to make them 87. You pass a 4-5G budget. That budget was not screwed up now. There was no public hearing. But when they woke up one morning, they said the budget was passed at the house of Richard Kuhn. Is that the place for us to pass budget? Richard Kuhn has become a political theater now where people can pass budget in the night. You see how damaging this country has been damaged by.
All right. Thank you. Hello to this caller. Good evening.
Hello, Milborn. How you doing, sir?
Go ahead, man, brother. Okay.
Yeah, this is the voice of PSR, the Common Board Chairman. I joined from Sukri, the show. Milborn, I want to say thank you to you and your panelists for your line of conversation experience. But I just like to say update by adding lay points, lay lines to what you will discuss. You see, the issue about harmonization was an issue of compulsion. The international partners look at the CZ government to the look. The only way you guys will proceed any step forward except you will carry all certain measure. And a certain measure brought about harmonization. So it was an issue of compulsion. And let me say this for the record. It was not only poor people side of court. I can remember in the CZ government, the minister or assistant minister are complaining about guys. Even the minister proper use the car that man the minister use. For the record, you can check it out. Even the car that the police director and the arrest or whatever you call it, the place of the issue, they were on a police home. It was the previous police director car, and he used it, take hold of him, it was either he used it, then he paid for. So those are the fights. Those are the facts. It is not like this kind of quote-unquote or being rescue mission that came and just living a kind of paradoxical life. Everything about them are paradox. They are so hypocritical and they are so contradicting. For instance, they said they were going to do X, Y, and Z, but then the X, Y, and Z is just different. Just for instance, what you were just saying. A person saying you were around, we buy the food to work. What is it right now today, people? The president sitting in a comfort of a 1.4 million vehicle.
Thank you, my dear brother. Today's caller, good evening. Hello?
Good evening.
Yes, my brother, good evening. Go ahead.
conversation from Bon County.
Good. Thank you for joining us always from Bon County. Go ahead, my brother.
Okay. Mom, you see, Liberia Palawa had to talk. Could you imagine 2024 budget? Budget was passed illegally because there was no speaker who signed that budget. Who was not a speaker to sign that budget. And another one is people talk about cleaning. There was a payroll pack. They cleaned the payroll, according to them, over 2,000 names were deleted. But then the budget year did not go to an end. There was a shortfall of budget. So tell me now, what becomes of those names that were deleted? Where the money went? Then today, if the budget is increased to $1.2 billion, what would be the trickle-down effect? Our lawmakers are passing budget in less than a week time, meaning they are not even going from page to page to analyze. What would be the trickle-down effect on the citizenry? So our legislators are not doing well for our country. We imagine it gets you that voted against the budget to the lower court. What is happening today?
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother. Keep the calls coming 0770. Also, the WhatsApp line is also there. You can also place in your call and have to say right here this evening. Let me go to the line. Charles Kubo is right here. Charlie, good evening.
Good evening, neighbor.
Yeah, my brother, go ahead.
Good evening to Mo and the other guys. You see, neighbor, before you can exercise oversight responsibility, you must firstly have what we call insight. If you do not have insight on anything, neighbor, you cannot exercise oversight. And in the case of our lawmaker, they don't have insight on anything that goes into that house. The only thing they can be looking at is the one that will directly benefit them. So long it is in their interest, they don't care, neighbor. They have told someone, neighbor, and say, nobody like bring a big cry in the name of witches and wizards. We put our problem on witches and wizards when our own witches and wizards is the government herself. Because all of the things that Liberians are experiencing, neighbor, is because of bad governance. We have abundant resources, neighbor, that even a woman that is pregnant child should have a saving account in this country. But because we have not had good managers, and that's why we are told that we said 20 years now, United Party, CDC, the two parties, they have governed this country. There have been no national problem that they have solved up to 75–80%. Why do we keep putting them? It's because maybe we are enjoying what they are doing. Maybe I told someone one of the reasons why Liberians do not want to take on chances against their own government is because we are all benefiting from the corrupt system. We are all benefiting from the rottenness of the system. If you are not benefiting from the rottenness of the system, you will take a stand on maybe. If you want to do a strong movement, the first people say you want to bring war. That's the first fear our leader can instill in us. Or you want to bring war. Is it right that you want to take a stand and say you want to
know more for one gunshot, you know more for one bullet, rather?
Yeah,
anyway.
People can protest the
all right. Thank you, my dear brother. Keep your calls coming to 0770-203-125. That's the number to call this evening. I have to say on all of the things that we've been talking about, especially the issue that have to do with the budget. I know our mothers, our sisters, I don't know whether some of you were even maybe asking some of the tough questions at the Capitol building as to what are the heft, because these are things that we expect our mothers, our sisters to mainly talk about or protest and so forth to know. What in there for heft to this call of evening? Yeah, my brother, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much for this discussion. This was really powerful. I'm very discussed. It's a market, the legacy of common person. Or therefore, the question you ask, why our lawmakers, especially the law, why they have to pass the budget with you? Therefore, let me tell you today, the reason why so that you see the full package budget with you, especially the law, those people that are working, they are not independently working. That particular lower hall is not independently working. They are working a bit. Every there that want to stay and eat the interest of the executive, so God will sponsor you. They will bring you down. They will make you know people. Or they will even know what is doing and you go to the pass the budget. You see that what is doing now that the executive is evidence interfering into the working of the law and the interest put there are supporting the executive. So what do you expect? No other opposition guys are there that want to be senator, they're not getting a chance. They are bottling that there and there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother. Today's caller, good evening.
Good evening, good evening.
Yes, my brother, go ahead. Yes.
This thing we always have war. We are not going to war. We are not going to war. If they say war, these people, they can get it back on their mind. They see that when they do it, then they're people go for war. Protesting to rouse against things that is not right. We shouldn't keep that thing back on our mind that we're not going to war. We are not going to war. We will not continue to say this in this country. We see few handful of people being reaching their every day. We'll sit it down and in the New York, we will war. We are not going to war. It is time for the citizens to rise up against those things these people doing to us in the country. We will not take some part all the time, put our heads in the ground, let the people look at the people say, oh, they feel corrupt, they can't, they say no. This thing got to be over. Enough is enough. It is time for us to rise up against this thing, to speak against it. We're not going to war. It is not war matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And from our far, we fight for war. Don't allow anybody. They're always saying here on the station, or the fact on the radio, that don't allow these things. These are tactics that the politicians use to cajole your mind. You know, that's how they always make you feel that, oh yeah, don't do it, or you do it, it won't happen. Or, you know, almost like when you want to, make the child to feel some kind of way. So you have to put fear into the child and how they always do. Look, it's far now for anybody not to think about. You know what I mean? That thing you're talking about, a way back where people get together, they go somewhere and buy guns and buy dates and spend all of that. Even before you put people, even if we to go trip, people will see them already. If you call it, will be us. So,
good evening.
My brother, good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm calling from Grand Bassa County. Thank you for the topic on the discussion, my dear brother. The rescue government is killing us slowly. Right now in Grand Bassa, majority of our students, our children are out of school because our salary was cut to 3,000, 2,000, 4,000, 5,000. Whereby some people are making 20, 24, etc. Especially those with degree. Everybody here plan, they said they will pay. The government said they will pay 70%.
I see. And then 70% and 30%.
The money can come. All of our children are out of school. So we are down so that particular budget they are talking about government 1.2 billion, and would that be in the interest? Would that be in the interest of the masses, especially the poor, whatever?
Wow. All right, my dear brother. I know that people then complain about it 30, 70. Today's caller, good evening.
So thank you, Mabel. And let me say good evening to your man listener. This is the voice of Prince Kulake. So I want to speak to the issue that was captured in the news. You know, we are members of the Youth Alliance for Good Governance. I think today we had a press conference very strong. And we have given the benefit of the doubt to those lawmakers, especially to the House of Senate, not to concur with the instrument that currently before them when it comes to additional 14 seats. So it is likely, and the young people have spoken, it will be followed by series of mass intellectual citizen movement to gallop at the Capitol building comes the first Tuesday in January. So the issue about abortion, it is last squarely in the hands of the National Election Commission. It doesn't last in the hands of the legislature. So it's a gross violation, and we can no longer sit and see the House of Legislature overstepping their bound, operating ultra-virally. If and only if, in conclusion.
Because hold on, my dear, because if you go back to Article 80 D and E, right? We also talk about that, and they gave them the power to be confused. If you said they don't have the sole authority to do.
Article 80 E said immediately following the next election. With the statistical data for the
thank you, which of course is the censor.
The national election have the power to reapportion. So the power of reapportion is squarely laid before the feet of the national election.
Based on the threshold that they will maybe pass, or maybe that they will put together, right?
So maybe we are requesting for an appearance on your show, on this Sktv show, national show, or also make everything explicit. So I think if you read, the public can go through the constitution article 80E, say immediately after before the next election. So if any action is to have affected 2023 election, but it can't affect 2029 election. So we have already said that, and we are waiting an invitation to appear on your show. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. So maybe call me anytime, then we will discuss it maybe for another Wednesday or Thursday. So this one, good evening.
Time in for the middle of the week.
Yeah, more you're right. Yeah, go ahead, my brother. Quickly, you will be our last or second to the last caller. Go ahead quickly.
Yeah, my name is RCM Tuana. I'm calling you from Gorbachev community. Well, SK, I just want to make this issue clear when it comes to the budget issue that we are discussing, even though I came late on the show. But I think when it comes to this budget about Liberia, especially when we talk about the increment in budget, looking at the kind of development that the government is undertaking, I don't think for me I have any issue with what we have on the book. I think what we should be critiquing is the amount of money that is apportioned to the various departments, and we see the usage of those money and what we can see with our eyes is what we should be concerned with. Then the next issue that has to do with adding additional seats in the House, we have to carefully look at this because it happened in the past when Charles Taylor even was able to develop, let's say, produce, let's say, 2 other counties in Liberia that brought about Babu County, where resources were not being fairly distributed. Okay? So if you look at even district number 4, the other people elected this young man. But if you just pass around some communities, they will even tell you that from the day that man was elected, he has never visited them.
But people are feeling frustrated. People are feeling frustrated. People are feeling frustrated just because the way our money, the way our lawmaker, the way they've been proceeding.
So I mean, resources must reach the rest of the other people. They get elected into power, and you can deliver what is required there or what is due them. So if it is need be, we have to carefully say, I'm not going to just agree to it, but we have to carefully study it. If it is necessary, I think we have to do it so that the rest of the other Liberians out there can also get their just benefit.
Thank you. Thank you so much, my dear brother. And to all of you more, we got to go. We have over there about 6 more minutes, so I think we can share it. Either 2 or 1.5 to go home for the day. But go ahead, Mark and Brother Aliu. Just listen to our people.
Well, the last caller got me confused. He said, looking at the kind of development that the government is taking on, but then he want to critique where the funds are going and how much has been allocated. My brother, you cannot have it both ways. Either be your defender for the rescue government or you be on the other side. You cannot have it both ways. That's what we're saying. You got to scrutinize that the budget, because the same thing we are saying, but you can't play defense and left out the most important detail. We are questioning the amount that has been allocated. They can have an increase without adding new government employees or increasing the salary of people that are already working. So you confuse yourself, and we're not allowed to confuse our audience here, because you are, I don't know whether you're doing it for political reason, because you contradicted yourself. The reason we want budget review so that this thing cannot happen. People should make remittances to the government account. You cannot be taking money that's sort of go to development and using it on something that's totally out of the budget. So you cannot say the government is undertaking developmental projects. You want to do all the money going on. That's apple to orange. You don't do that. But anyway, I would say thanks for the show. And one thing, I think the chat's calling.
Yeah. So more quickly, let me take AB 2.
All right.
Quickly, yes. Quickly, more. Yeah, but AB, go ahead.
Memo?
Yes, sir. My dear brother, go ahead quickly.
Okay, how you doing, man?
This is Abraham calling from New Jersey. Let me say good afternoon, good morning, Ali, man. Good topic, man. I see that you guys are looking a little bit fiery today, my man. Today Monday, but it's like you're all over the place, man. So
you know what coming? How do they running away for us?
You know, the brazen broad day corruption in Liberia is mind-boggling. Firstly, you have a government that came into power the first month or two and remitted $8 million to a bank that the United Party are owing, and up to this day, there's no accountability for that money. You have a government today that is erecting a $10 million structure in 4 years, and they cannot even explain to you what it is, but rather going to the United Arab Emirates and borrowing $12 million to come in and complete them in the common room. Why couldn't you use that $10 million to continue the road in Lufa County then? But rather, you use it as a personal advertisement. So for people to sit here today and still continue to talk about, oh, this is a bunch of moral people, it's troubling. The thing is brazen, man.
Oh.
Look at the financial, look at the budget, man, bro. Everything is every other money in violation of the law in MOS.
All right, my dear brother, thank you. We don't have time. We will maybe take you on tomorrow, Erin. That will be
you can
go ahead.
Ali, you just take us home now. We don't have that much time, only 4 minutes, so you close up. AB we can go in detail. I love when AB come on the show. He can
Thanks to the callers, yes, for taking their time. Like I was just saying here, all the things we'll be talking, people will still be there to say, oh yeah, the government is doing well. Okay, yeah, the government is doing well, but if you are not increasing or people on the payroll, nothing on the account, you are not employing people are protesting every day for job. Even people who supported you today, they are not getting job. But then the wage will keep going up. Where is the money going? This is the question. When you call, you should be able to tell us, because some of us we don't know, and some of you have link with the government. Don't just tell, oh yeah, the government carry on development. This is the question. We want to know where the money going. So as a caller brigade, when you call, try to tell us where the money going. And lastly, for long, we hear from this guy, man. The guy used to call you and say, "Oh, thank you to President SLSA Joseph Yuma Baka that got robbed."
Yeah. So no, not data. So no scratch. No meaning.
No, I mean, why is situation now? Because that time you talk about here, I know he got robbed by people.
You're talking about yes, you're right, though.
Yes,
yes, but okay, you're talking about the guy that was robbed, that you to change the money. Yes, you're right. Same there. You guys have to know here, no tear. Nobody want to give us update. Actually, his contact I used to have. I think been off for a little time, but maybe he will call us one of the day. I hope
we wish him well. Yeah, it's not easy. We wish him well.
Well, thank you, Brother Ali. Thank you, Monk. That's a people who gotta go, and Monk just responded the right way to the last caller, because we're going to react to him, or maybe ask a question. They're going to say, "Oh, they want one for other people." Yeah.
You came from where they tell him, "My woman go good food today." Oh, you see pigtail, you see cow meat. Then you say, "But where my money going?" No, you cannot have it both ways. If you give the government, I'm not taking all the project. Why you want credit? Where the money going? That the same thing we're talking about. He came and flipping it around.
That's the same thing, my brother. So my brother, the reason I was asking, because the money not going to the right place. When you go to the church, like for example, every Sunday we go to the church, and the people collect the other offering, they will tell you after they finish praying, they will say, "Let the money be used for it."
The funny part. The men believe that the government is doing a lot of good things in development, but he still don't know where the money goes. So we mean he is saying
when you have that kind of ear, I like you for that, because you really have that kind of listening ear. They just capture everything for him, because we're going to ask him, we're going to be thinking that maybe I don't want to give him, the right for him to talk about. Again, thank God that all of our people are listening. My people, when we come here, we want for Liberia to get better and to be better. This scheming thing that your politicians doing, some of us will know this thing for a long time. 20 years, they've been scheming and they are still scheming. So maybe it can I don't know, it make you happy. But for some of us, we know that they are schemers. They are schemers, and they are still scheming on you. But for you, we make you happy. But for us, no, we're not making you happy. So, Brother Aliu, Mom, see you people on tomorrow by the grace of God. Thank you guys. Indeed.
Yeah. By the grace of God tomorrow. You mean too that alleged you that what happening abroad, the government official they building their mansion there overnight. That when they say talk like the net at the time you can see the big truck they carry what happening in the country, my sister. The person they get legal money, but in the net they get bill.
That's interesting though. Just be on the fence. At the time you can see all of the loopholes. I think you can see everything, but by the time you get in the fence or you get on the field, I don't think you can see anymore. You move with the syndrome. Thank to all of you, our followers, our viewers. Good night to all of you people. We have to go and rest our body. Thank to all of you. Good.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talking about podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the club. Qualified people who willing to sell. Blessing that time and that effort are rest. The brother is giving us here and the parents from there. The welcome my life with African.
I lyrical
Master.
Play Paris who make on you. I can't Sktv venue. Say my journey, Tina get I say my jamo. And you no money, and Muaye yo. And you love
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must survive the lofa and grandbaza.
And I delay ya to money, and I sadia ya to money, and I wanna play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I delay ya to money, and I sadia ya to money, and I wanna play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I forget na ya to money. That's the TV, and I don't forget it now. Cause you walk on my ya to money. Yeah.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must survive the lofa and grandbaza.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talking about podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the club. Qualified people who waiting to sell. The flesh, that time and that efforts are rest. The broadcast we giving a real and the premise my best. The work with my life with us, yeah. From Grandfather Nima to Lufa, from Riverside, River G to Chile, from Grand Crew, Bombing, Kidman, Montserrat, San to Bacalu, from Maryland, Bonk to the Mikey B. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa.